I can tell this guy really likes to take things to the extreme. Somebody from my team sent me a video about Bryan Johnson, the longevity guy who's never gonna die. I should probably take some more advice from him, that he did about air pollution is killing us, which I could not agree more. I'm on a mission to build the world's leading indoor air quality company. It's obviously something that I'm super passionate about, and all types of pollutants come from the air. A big part of my mission about building the world's leading indoor air quality company is finding ways to help to combat that so we can all live a happier and longer life, and maybe even don't die like Bryan Johnson says. So let's see what he has to say about it, see if he's on the right path or not.
LA is on fire right now, and it is devastatingly sad. Many of my friends have lost their homes, everything they have. It's also the case that people in LA are now challenged with horrific air quality. Cars, houses, everything burned, and the pollutants just plume up. Many of the times we are
fire's terrible for air quality.
That kill us immediately. Poison, getting hit by a bus, but oftentimes we are completely ignorant to the things that kill us slowly. One of those things is air pollution. The thing is, it can lead to all kinds of risks. Pneumonia, cancer, heart disease, stroke. It's really bad for the body. 99% of the world experiences air pollution challenges. India is the third worst country in the entire world for air quality.
Wow, I thought they were first. I wonder who's worse, number one.
Absolutely stunned. It's almost like fog, but it's air pollution. Nobody's wearing a mask. Nobody pays attention. In fact, there are people outside running. They're exercising in this air pollution. When we landed, we had masks, and even after 3 days, my body was covered in like red hives. My eyes were so red I could barely see. It had such an intense effect on my body. In India, poor air quality reduces life expectancy by 3.57 years, whereas cancer only reduces life expectancy by 3 years.
Wow.
So India is better off addressing poor air quality than solving cancer. That's how significant air quality is. Now, if
could not agree more, Bryan.
Air quality is important to your health and wellness and something that you want to pay attention to, the question is, how do you approach
now it's going to get interesting.
Air? Two things. One is you want to begin with measurement, both inside your house and outside your house. When you look here at my device, this is measuring PM 2.5, PM 1, which is 1 microns, and PM 10, also VOCs and also formaldehyde. So here, the measurement here for PM 2.5 is 3.
Does he say the name of the device?
2 below the WHO standard of 5 and below the EPA standard of 9. So very safe levels internally. This particular pollutant is identified because it's one of the more common pollutants from car exhaust.
Yeah, never seen that device before. I'd be curious. We should buy one.
It's 2.5 microns in size. It's small enough that it can bypass nasal hairs, get into your bloodstream and get into organs. So it's like uniquely pernicious to cause disease and negative health effects. So one, measure. Now, once you measure, the question is, how do you bring your levels down inside your house? The first stop you want to have is your HVAC system. You want to see what the filter is you have in there, and it's used by a filter called MERV, M-E-R-V. Now,
the filter is not called MERV, that's the measurement rating.
If you can go up to like a 16 or 17, that's even better. But
almost no house would take a 16 or 17.
These more robust filters. So find your HVAC system and try to have...
Well, he's definitely right that a MERV 13 filter can be beneficial for your HVAC system. We'll see if he talks about it, but I actually think a MERV 13 filter combined with the UV light is really what he needs to do. I'll be curious to see if he mentions UV light when we get into it. Generally, MERV 16 and MERV 17, not really viable for residential offering. There are some HVAC systems that will take a MERV 16, but they're very expensive and not very common, so I don't think that's really great advice for most people. The older MERV 13 media really blocked airflow in a major way that would cause a lot of problems burning up your motor, and the new medias are not nearly as restrictive, so I wouldn't worry about putting in a MERV 13, certainly not a Filterbuy MERV 13 in my system.
The most robust filter you can to capture the most pollutants. Once you do that, you can augment your air quality internally by having an additional air filtration device. I have one here by me today. It's built by IQ Air. It's a HEPA level filter plus a bunch of other things as well. This particular device is built for indoor air quality.
It's very expensive and it is good. The problem is you realistically need to have them in every room if you really want to see the benefit. Cheapest way, which we actually talked about in a video would be installing a UV light combined with an air filter actually becomes like an air purifier filter for your whole home. With the caveat being you have to have good airflow in your home. If you don't have good airflow, like your duct system doesn't really move air properly throughout your house or your work, then you do need a localized air purifier like he's talking about.
As you're becoming familiarized with the air quality outside, you can look at the AQI. This is the Air Quality Index. You can go to iqair.com and there you'll get a number. 0 to 50 is green. That means it's safe and you're fine.
I think we should put that on filterbuy.com. Good marketing tip. Thank you, Bryan.
50 to 100 is yellow, which means it can be sensitive. The next category is 100 to 150, 150 to 200, 200 to 300, and then 300 plus. Each one carries greater risk. By the time you get to 300, it's hazardous for everybody. So in LA, for example, the average is around 50 to 60, so it borders on the tail end of healthy and in the range of unhealthy. So indoor here at my home, it's pristine air quality. Outside, you're making a trade-off. So most cities in the US generally have really good air quality.
Pretty crazy to me that LA is still in the yellow, even with the fires. It shows how the baseline pollution must not be terrible relative to places like India. I would have guessed it would be up in the red. So we also know why Bryan has such great skin. He must never go outside if he's so worried about the air pollution.
Look for green or yellow for the AQI. If it's above it, you want to be mindful because you could have some sensitivities to that. If you live in an area that has high air pollution, one thing you can do to mitigate the risks is wear a mask. There was interesting data that those who wore an M50 mask were able to reduce the mortality-linked air pollution by 49%, an M49 mask by 37%, and M48 by 20%.
I can tell this guy really likes to take things to the extreme. And he's probably right, but I don't know that that's practical advice for most people.
So masks do meaningfully help reduce the pollutants that get into your body. So if you're outside in high air pollution, just be sure to wear a mask.
In high air pollution, I agree. In a green outdoor space, I think that's probably overkill, to be honest with you.
Air quality is unique in that it is a public good. When you walk outside, you can't just filter the air quality. It's something we all consume. But you can control things inside your home. Start with the basics, measure, know your base levels of air quality, and then work on your HVAC system, do the best you can there. That will get you to these low levels of PM 2.5. Then when you're outdoors, check the AQI. Is it 0 to 50 in green? If you're good. If you're higher, yellow or red, 50 to 150, be mindful you may want to wear a mask. It does not mean that you need to be overly concerned.
All good advice. The most obvious thing that he's missing, in my opinion, is a UV light. That's fairly cheap and really can act as an air purifier for your whole home if you do it right. Combined with the HVAC filter is what's important. It's interesting, like he said, HVAC system. It's not really the HVAC system that's so important. It's like your ducting system and the airflow and the filtration part of your HVAC system. So it's not necessarily the system itself, but the filter and how the air flows through your home or your space that matters the most. The one thing I'm interested in, and he doesn't actually say, is what device he's actually using and how accurate it is. I've looked at a lot of these devices over the years and they're not nearly as accurate in reality as they say they are. They were kind of junk when I looked at them. I haven't gotten excited about any one of them recently, but I'm going to try to figure out which brand he's talking about. I'm really glad to see that he's raising the awareness around air pollution and the importance of air quality in general. It's something I'm certainly passionate about. There's so much we can do to improve it. 544,000 views on this video. He obviously has a lot of diehard fans. I'm glad he's raising awareness for it, and I hope more and more people get behind that in the coming years. I want to be the champion of them all. Thank you, Bryan, for raising that awareness.